Hello, I'm Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper. Thank you for joining me on once again. I got many emails from you. Many of you are dealing with, you think, covert narcissists, and you was asking questions about the covert. What does that mean? The covert means to be beneath. It means to be unexposed. It means to be covered. If you drop if you see the word covert and you drop the T, it means to cover. It means to be unexposed, to be in a hidden place or a place where you are not seen, you're not visible, you're not recognized. And that's the way the covert is. They call the covert the vulnerable narcissist or the most human character of narcissists. They do that because the most narcissists will make you feel privileged just to have them in their life, where the covert would have the subject to feel like the covert is privileged to have that supply in their life. The covert is very vulnerable. They go after your empathy. They go after sympathy. They always go after something wrong. They're problematic. Something always wrong with them. And they really hem in on your sympathy. And they use this sympathy for a psychological connection. And they use that psychological connection for a deep emotional bonding, especially if you're an empath. The empath have a tendency to feel needed, to feel responsible, and the covert notice that. And the covert narcissist will use the emphasis that something is wrong, that they can't get it together, that something they need the empath in their life to help them in order for them to get the strength they need, to get the success they need. And so now that the empath feel wanted, it is a trickery to get them connected and to get them emotionally bonded by making them feel responsible for the narcissist. The narcissist is they're very nice, very how can I say? Most people just really like them. They get along with people. They can be just as angry as any other narcissist, but they have a tendency to get along with people, and they have a tendency to just seem like the perfect individual. They seem to hear in the love bombing, idolization. They are good listeners because they're listening for certain frequencies in your emotions. They're looking for certain damages that they can connect with, because the covert narcissist is going to connect with your vulnerability, because they're going to connect their strength. They're going to seem like they're vulnerable, but they connect their strength to your vulnerability, and they use that same connective vulnerability to gain control. And if you notice, the narcissists seem to be understanding, they seem to be caring, they seem to just, they have a tendency to be very affectionate, very emotional around you. And then all of a sudden they just turn, they just change, because then now they don't want the responsibility of you thinking that you need to be responsible for them, because they have a sense of privilege, they have a sense of grandiosity, they still have the trace of narcissism. But the covert narcissist, the unexposed, the covered one, they cover themselves up so you can be drawn in, and they abuse a little bit differently. They draw you in, they draw your emotions in, and they have you doing things for them. They would drain you dry. They also call these the vampire narcissists, because they would drain you of all your resources. They would drain you of all of your energy. They will make sure that you are tapped out. And when these narcissists make sure that you are tapped out, they start going into the inner core. They find out the deficits. They concentrate on your deficit, and then they head for those deficits, and they make you feel guilty when you gain strength. They make you feel guilty when you don't cater to them. The narcissists, once they get in the relationship, you notice that now they care less about hearing, because everything is about them. Everything is about what they want, what they need, and how they can get it. And so their vulnerability, especially if you are empath and you feel responsible for them, they drive that need in where you feel like you need to rescue them. You feel like you need to help them. And they always have some sad story why they missed the promotion, why this happened in their family, why their family don't treat them right. And then all of a sudden, the same pull to get the empathy, get the sympathy out of you, they're totally totally discard. They totally ghost. They think you are triangulated. And they use that too as the trauma bonding. They come back, they're the crying narcissists. They will cry like they repent and they change and they want everything to change and they are so sorry that they hurt you. They were just vulnerable and they felt like they didn't have anybody. They felt all alone and they really tie in to your emotions. But the narcissist pull you in through trauma bonding, psychological bonding, psychological deficit, emotional deficit. The narcissist always will make you feel. They will always compliment you, but they will correct you at the same time. They will never just give you a total compliment. They will compliment and correct you because there always have to be a deficit. You always have to need them even though they are telling you they need you. The narcissists make the empath feel like they complete them and everything about their person is completed through the help of the empath. And now the empath, even if there's abuse in the relationship, the empath through cognizant dissonance will not leave because of the sense of obligation, the sense of responsibility. You feel like the narcissist can't make it without you. You feel like the narcissist can't do without you. That is the trauma bonding. Then when the abuse comes, you are obligated and you feel like you can't leave the narcissist. It's psychologically wearing. It wears you out psychologically. It's psychologically draining. Next thing you know, you don't have energy to dream. You don't have energy to fight. And then the narcissists start complaining that you're not the same. You don't love them the same. You don't give the same energy. You don't have the same energy to give. Everything you give, they absorb it and take it away. And the narcissists, usually, the covert narcissists absorb. They absorb the energy. They absorb your strength. They absorb your finances. And then they cross over to mirror it to the next supply. And the narcissist makes sure that you are in full denial that something is wrong, but they are always complaining. They will never give you full credit for what you do. And you are noticing with the narcissist, they're undercurrent outside. They are so charming. Everybody loves them. They seem to be the life of the party, even though they are awkward. There's some awkwardness about them, but yet everybody loves them because they are so charming. They seem to understand. They laugh at the right time. They encourage at the right time. But they have Roman eyes. They have Roman emotions. They triangulate. They will flirt quickly with a friend that is there. And then when you say something about it, they accuse you of being over jealous, over protective, when it's the narcissist. The covert narcissist is very, very, very jealous. If you notice, they consume all of your time. They don't want anybody with you, and they are masters as isolation, because to get what they want, they know that it's going to drain you. They know it's going to pull your resources. They know they're going to pull you away from the family. And the narcissists know, because they are vulnerable, and you have a tendency to rise up when you've given yourself too much. You start to go into the fight zone. You start to go into the recovery zone, so you won't lose yourself. And the narcissist will try everything they can. Guilt. They try to get you to master serving them. And then they cry like they really need you. But what the narcissist does is tie you into an obligated relationship. They tie you into a responsible relationship. Now, when you get the empath fall for this. It is hard for the empath to untie, to get away from the narcissist, because empaths feel responsible to help them survive. They feel like that's their mission. And that's why the covert especially loves the empath. And they are terror to the empath, because the empath never completes the mission. They never satisfied. They're totally drained and they don't know what else to do. So they feel like a failure. And the narcissist takes advantage of that, because now he guilt tripped them, or she guilt tripped them to get them to stay. And that trauma bonding will last in relationships. Most covert relationship can last because it's so subtle, it's so giving, and it's really not giving. It's just the narcissist pulling life out of you. And they know when to back off from you and let you stretch your emotions. And when you stretch your emotions, they come back in for the juggler. The narcissist that is a covert covers themselves. They take and they minimize themselves. When I say minimize themselves, they minimize themselves as to the trauma that they're doing. And when they maximize themselves, they always make themselves seem big. And when they make themselves seem big, that's because they done made you seem vulnerable. And then when you seem vulnerable and you want to quit, now they go to the vulnerability to pull that out of you, to pull your responsibility, accountability to them out. The covert narcissist can be very, very mean. The covert narcissist can be filled with anger, and sometimes they can be overt. They can be just as aggressive as the overt narcissist, but they can be just as charming. They can be the most charming people, and you just wonder how can this be? How can I be in love with someone that is so wonderful and yet they're so evil and yet they're so wicked? They will totally isolate you because the covert is a dominant force. The covert is very insecure. The covert needs massive, massive attention. They need massive, massive time. And if you notice that you have children with the covert, they want the time that you spend with the children. They will fight you over the children because the covert is so needy. They always got a sob story. They always, something is always happening. And then they will lie to even say the mom is sick, the dad is sick, or something like that, just to get your emotions to keep you there. The covert narcissist is not hidden from being a narcissist. They're just covered. They're just vulnerable. They're just subject. And they'll make you feel obligated to them like they can't do without you, when most of the narcissists will make you feel like you need them, that you can't do without them. Just the opposite with the covert. They stress your mind out. They stress your dream out. And one thing about the covert narcissist, the more they stress you out, the more they pull out from you until there's nothing, because they don't want you in the way when they triangulate. They don't want you in the way when they ghost, but they want you to stay in that supply. So when things don't work out, they can always come back to home base and start pulling and using sympathy and using your empathy to make you feel obligated to take care of them. The covert narcissist can be tremendous. These vampires and energy drainers would definitely leave you in question. And that's why you must trust your instinct when you meet these narcissists and your instinct is telling you something is wrong. Don't ever underestimate the power of your instinct. Listen to your instinct, because it may be hell to go through years with a covert narcissist, and when you finally get away, oh, what freedom it is. A covert can be very subtle. A covert can be very charming, but they center in on all of your compassion toward them, your empathy toward them, and they lock you in to work it and to keep working it till there's nothing left, and then they are satisfied. I hope I answered your questions. Please feel free to write me, leave your comments at the bottom. I love you, and I look forward to having you in the next video. Please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. You can write me at destinyhepper12s@gmail.com. God bless you.